Hey, welcome back, subscribers. In today's video, I'm going to go over some of the top 5 mistakes I see riders of all ages make when they go riding and want to practice. All right, the first one is I see a lot of riders have their elbows down while they're riding, and when the elbows are down, you have no control over the front end whatsoever. When your elbows are up, well, if you start getting a ting slapper or go side to side, you can save yourself by you have more control over the bike. When it's here, it's very easy to head shake. And a good way to prevent that is don't grab the throttle neutral, because when you go wide open, well, your elbow is going to drop down and then you're back into this position. What I want to see you do on both hands is grab a big handful so that if you do go wide open, my elbow is still high. Not that, you know, if you don't want to be wide open, you don't have to be. You could be 10% or so, but it's nice to grab a large portion of that throttle. And then another tip is don't grab right up against the throttle, because here you're going to get those gnarly blisters on the inside of your finger. All right, so don't do this. I want to see you have your pointer finger rubbing it, and then you have this nice little probably inch gap between the grip and your hand. That's going to help force your elbow out. And I could have over-exaggerated a bit more, but I decided to go with what I've seen on the track from other riders. And my grip isn't that bad, but it could be better, and you can see my elbows are fairly 90 degrees with the handlebars, which is a no-no. Anything below that is a no-no. Don't pay too close attention to how far I am on the bike. I can go over in some other tutorials when this would be good. When it's really rough out, I wouldn't suggest being this far forward on the bike. It's more of a terrain scenario only. And I can go into all sorts of reasons why I'm putting so much weight on the front end of the motorcycle, but that's for another time. Here, I want you to pay attention to my grip and my elbow. I'm wide open right here, and I'm nowhere near that 90 degrees on my elbow. The next common mistake I see is people having their knees out. Have you ever seen somebody pedal their bicycle and their knees are way out? Well, here you have no control over the bike, and it leaves you to only have control over the bike with your hands, and your hands only control about 10 to 15% of the motorcycle. Your legs do the rest. So you need to have your legs tucked in, and a good way to have that happen is your toes. Your toes can't be pointed out. You got to try to have them pointed pigeon-toed inward, because what that's going to do is it's going to force your knees to be squeezing the motorcycle, and the more you squeeze the motorcycle, the less pressure you have on your hands. Notice my knees, notice my toes, and no bueno. And then again, my toes, my knees are squeezing the bike, and my elbows are up, attack position, like it all plays together. And then this is probably the most important one on my list of mistakes. It's staying loose. It's sort of an open-ended question. How do I stay loose on the bike? Well, there's a lot of things: your nutrition, your hydration, the strength of you, how much you ride. But a general rule of thumb is to help stay loose is it's with your legs. You want to be up on the bike in that attack position. If you've seen my other videos, what the attack position is, and you want to have a pelvic tilt so that you're putting a lot of pressure on your legs and your core is tight, so that your arms are now free flowing, so that you can do whatever you need to do. Point at the fans, you know, nice, have butt whips, So, because if you're not loose on the motorcycle, you're gonna be really stiff and you're gonna hold on really tight, and we're gonna get that dreaded arm pump. I do have some videos on arm pump too if you wanna check that out. But as soon as you get arm pump, your lap times are gonna deteriorate. You're not gonna be able to use your controls. You probably aren't even getting tired out on the track. You just can't push and go faster. And then this one is just, I see a lot of riders blipping the throttle, blipping it off of a jump. You know, you see like little 50s in their Cobras, they make that noise. You don't need to do that on the track. We need to work on our throttle control and being very smooth with the throttle. What that means is normally I see riders in too low of a gear around the track, and so they've got this small bit of torque because they're in a low gear. You need to shift up so that you have a water spectrum of that gear ratio so that you can just hold up. Did he say water? Did he actually mean to say wider spectrum? So that you have a water spectrum of... Yep, that was definitely water. I don't know how many concussions this guy has had or has, but making a tutorial, he needs to know that you lose your audience when you mess stuff up like that. Blah. And a lot of times it doesn't sound like you're going fast because you're in a higher gear, but in fact, if you have somebody click a stopwatch with you, you are in fact going faster. So the motor sound has really nothing to do with your lap times. I recommend people always being in a higher gear and being smooth with everything, because if you can be smooth with your braking technique and your accelerating technique, not this point turn, real choppiness, you're going to go faster, and it is going to help you in the long run. Once you start pushing harder, if you can get the smoothness down of the throttle control, you'll be better off. So for massive style points, never have your visor all the way down. Have your visor all the way up. It looks cool, gets chicks, makes your lap times go down. And everyone wanting to improve themselves out there, just remember, practice makes proficient. Even the best, your heroes, whatever, we all make mistakes, and the only way to get better is to practice. So don't feel bad about doing something wrong or looking a certain way. We were all there at one point. You have to walk before you can run. And then, oh, the feeling of bliss when you do it right the third, fourth, 100th time. I don't know how many times I hit this quarter. And as always, this is Johnny Hopper, the guy that the older he gets, the faster he was. If you guys ever need tips, feel free to private message me on Instagram. I'll be happy to help. So I have my YouTube channel and...